Alright, what we're going to talk about today is deer. Big deer. One of my favorite topics. And then we'll look at a few records in the record book, some of the record books. Big Game Society of Nova Scotia. We'll look at a few of them. And we'll talk about how you can increase your odds and stuff like that there. First, I guess we should talk about scouting. This is March right now, and this is the best time to scout. Deer season is long over, and the winter's almost over. So if you come across a big set of deer tracks, it is safe to say that that deer survived not just deer season, but it's going to survive the winter season also. So it'll be there for you to start the next hunting season. Very good. Alright, so what do you want? Well, you want to get out there and you want to look for some tracks. And I drew it on here, a deer track. Best I could do. Anyways, length 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 inches long. Width, more importantly, 2 1/2 to 3 inches wide. And we'll come back to that in a second. Round tip. You want it, an older deer will have those tips rounded. Younger deer, and they'll be sharp. So that's another hint. So length, the width, round tip equals trophy. Take a little tape measure with you, piece of string, whatever. When you measure the track, make sure that it's not deep in the mud or deep in the snow, because then the hooves will spread out and you won't get an accurate reading. So around 1 inch depth or less. Okay, and like I say, winter is the best time. And then when you come across the set, backtrack it. I mean, you could track it, but you know, there's a good chance you might come across it and you're going to stress it out and everything. You don't need to do that. Backtracking is just as good to find out where it came from, what it was doing, and where's a possible ambush site for next season. So if you backtrack it into an old chopping, there you go, buddy, there's a good spot. Or into a funnel. And you all know what funnels are, don't you? Funnels can be between a swamp and a lake, between a lake and a road, between a swamp and another swamp, between two lakes, between a still water and another still water. Between a big rocky outcrop and a swamp, between, yeah, it goes on and on. Anyways, so once you backtrack it, find a good spot to put your setup, your deer stand, then you got it. Then you use your GPS or your compass or whatever, and you make it, and then you make a nice trail or a ribbon off a trail straight out to the road, and then you're all set for next year. Done for scouting. Next year, get in there and set up, and you're ready to go, and you got a good chance to get yourself a trophy. And that's a different type. Like the width, the 2 1/2 is really that's a good sized deer. If you can find a hoof that's 2.5 inches wide, that's a good deer. You don't necessarily have to go to 3. I mean, it could take you a long time to find something that's close to 3 inches wide. So if you can find something around 2.5, you're smoking. You're good. There's different types of hunters. A hunter. Let's go with the A hunter. The A hunter is a hunter that wants a deer, any deer. Shoot a deer and he's done. That's typical A hunter. I guess he just wants meat mostly, or just wants a deer. I don't know. Anyways, trophy hunter or a big deer hunter doesn't have to necessarily be a trophy. It's just a nice, good sized deer. That's a different type of hunter too. He'll let does go by. He'll let small bucks go by. Don't want them. Too much work. Don't want them. So, yeah. And there's another type of hunter. A hunter that wants take one for meat and then wants another one, a big one. And sometimes you're allowed to do that. If you can get 2 licenses, you can do that. and some people do it anyways, which I don't agree with, but whatever. Or they'll shoot something smaller and they'll try to fill someone else's tag, and I don't agree with that. And, whatever. So the trophy hunter, he's the guy who's going to go and he's going to scout during the off season, and he's going to get a good sized buck. Or if you don't, he's going to have a real good hunt. Anyways, he's going to have a good hunt. Okay? So now we'll have a look at some of these trophies in Nova Scotia here, and then maybe we'll do some more math. You like math? Now we'll just throw some weights out here for you. As far as the deer goes, I've read this so many hunting books over the years, and I've been reading hunting books and hunting magazines since the 70s. Where is it? To get your live weight from a dressed deer, it is 78%. So field dress, where is it? Dress, I don't need all that. What am I doing? So field dress, just put dress. Divided by 78. or 78% equals live weight. E-I-G-H-T. Okay. So it's, alright, so it's, yeah. Dress. Divided by 78 equals live. It's been a long time since I used these. Wait. Okay. And we'll give you some numbers. What would give you your 300-pound deer is 235. Dress equals 301 pounds. Okay. So 235 dress, that's a good number that's a good deer to get. I'll get you some numbers here. So what about a nice 250-pound deer? Now that's a big deer, right? So that would be 195 dressed. Equals 250. Right? What about 275? That's a big deer. Has there been some 275s around Nova Scotia? Oh, I believe there was. There's definitely been some over 350, that's for sure. So 350. So 293 dressed. 293 equals 375. 75. Okay. So what would it take to get a 400-pound deer? Be 312 equals 400. Claim they got one up the valley, but I don't know. You'd almost have you'd have to see it being weighed to believe it, eh? You know. What else can I tell you? Well, there's your math anyways. Remember, it's 78%. Okay. And that's not exact either, because come on now, you know, that deer could have a full stomach, or it could have an empty stomach. Right? There's a difference right there. And then we got deer that are skinny. We got deer that are fat. We got deer that are thick and stout. We got deer that are big and long and lean. Tall. We got tall deer. We got all kinds up in here. So, but that's a good basis to go by if you field dressed it, you know, because you want to, because they're heavy, you know, and then drag it out and then weigh it. So that's a good rule of thumb to go by. And then it's all over the internet and all over the hunting books. 78% is the closest calculation to what you're looking for. Okay, it's a good calculation to go by. Two last things. There is a couple nice bucks recently taken. They are photographed, videotaped on YouTube, and I've seen them, and they're quite impressive. One actually does look like a 300-pound monster, pretty heavy duty, pretty heavy looking anyways, and that is the hog buck. And the other nice buck is the Medusa buck. And there's been a couple bad comments about these deer. So I'm going to straighten them out, right? Just give me a second. There's just some nasty comments about how they're farm animals, they're ranch animals, raised on ranches or whatever. You're not allowed doing that in Nova Scotia. You're not allowed to have any wild animals as a pet in Nova Scotia, or raise them, and certainly not raise them to hunt in some type of enclosure. It's just not allowed. So maybe it's allowed down in states where you're at, and I get your point, because I've seen some nice deer taken, and they're shot within a closed enclosure, and they're being fed, and oh jeez, you know, it's like almost going out shooting a cow, you know. And yeah, then they brag, oh, this big buck, look at that, oh, I got that, oh, I'm the really good hunter. No, yeah, I don't like that either. So, but Nova Scotia doesn't allow that. So, all right. In case you start with those negative comments about that stuff, you've been straightened out. You've been schooled. All right. What else? Where do we go from here? Well, I guess we go from here is back to the fridge. Good luck in your next hunt. Alright. We'll just do a few of these in case there's don't want any copyright infringements or whatever in there. Alright, this guy here. Let's get a nice looking deer. Okay. Alright. Says here, Murray, N.S, whatever. That's a 149-inch typical buck in October 1948. Halifax County, field dress, 269 pounds. So it's a very nice deer. Outside spread of 25.5 inches. All right. So there's all kinds of big deer in these books, but we'll just go over a few of them. I got them marked here somewhere. This one there. Alright, here's this Hal Fay. Yeah. Says here, Cumberland County, Nova Scotia, of course, in '89. The 20-point rack scored 217 3/8. So that's a pretty good record right there. And it's one of the best in Nova Scotia, it says here. So There you go. And the buck was aged at 4.5 and carried a 6-pound rack. He's a lucky fella, eh? Yes, sir. Okay, even the guy next to him, I mean, look at the size of these racks. What's that guy? This guy, it's a 210 and 2/8, non-typical. It's taken by Billy Hadley. 89, Guysborough County. 23 and 7/8 inside spread with 19 points on 163 3/8 typical frame. And it doesn't give the weight. There's a lot that don't give the weight. There's a nice little buck right there. I mean, Murray Green. .207 and 4/8. It looks bigger than that. Yeah, he must be a small fellow, maybe. Yeah. Has a 182 5/8 typical frame. Yeah. Doesn't say the weight on that. I don't like that. Well, they don't all weigh them. You know, you gotta. It's a big deer way back in the woods, and you gotta dress it out and. Maybe even draw and quarter it. I don't know. I thought I had something here. I think I might have to pause this. I might have. That's just sheds. Yeah, we'll just pause this for a sec. Sorry. Give you an idea of the size of some of the deer around here. See the fellow standing beside it. Yeah. And this one is Dan Siteman took this buck, and it's 143 and 6/8 typical. Took that in 85. It was aged at around 8.5 years. That's an old buck. No wonder it looks so big. And it was dressed at 255.5 pounds. So that's definitely over 300 pounds live weight. And the list goes on. The list goes on. I mean, there's so many in this book I can't go over all of them. And there's like 6 of these editions. So, but we will feast your eyes on a couple of them. And then we'll go into dress weights and whatnot. I had this page marked for some reason. Maybe it was this one down here. Oh, well, there's both of these, I guess, because they get the weights on them. See, I like the weights. You can have a scrawny deer in a big rack. You don't want that. Well, you might take it anyways, but you'd rather have a big giant deer in a big rack. So, anyways, there's this deer here. And it's not a real huge rack or nothing. It's 148 and 7/8 buck, Lunenburg County. 234 pounds. And I believe that's dressed. And that would be, oh, very close to 300 pounds. If not, we'll have to do the math on that one for sure. And here's one Ivan Bazanson. 149 points in that. That's all it says, except for dressed out as 248 pounds. So that's dressed. Yeah, that'll definitely be over. That'll be a 300-pound deer right there, no problem. Okay. Now, let's see here. There's one there. This one, that's a nice one, but this one here, I don't know if you can see that one or not, but doesn't look that big, but it dressed out as 235, so that's going to be your 300-pound deer right there. I believe that works. I think that's the exact equation for 300 pounds, or just a little bit over. Okay. Oh, here's one. That one's it's a nice wide rack, fairly nice rack. 146 and 5/8, and this buck dressed out at 300 pounds. That's what it says. I wonder if I can zoom in on the 300 pounds. Whoops. There you go, 300 pounds. We'll do the math on that, see what 300 pounds comes up with for live weight. Anyways, a lot of these deer are 220 something, 230 something, 240 something, and so on. And they're going to dress out as close to 300 pounds. I mean, we got a lot of big deer here. And we'll get into the moose section a little bit because that's fun. We have a draw system for Cape Breton moose, and that's the end of the province there. And that's the only place you're allowed to hunt the moose. The mainland moose is you're not allowed. They are in trouble, and there's no licenses for them. But the ones at Cape Breton, they have been. They were transplanted from Alberta, I believe, if not BC, somewhere's out there. So they're really big, and this gives you an idea. This guy's holding the size of look at the size of those paddles, eh? Wow, they're just huge beasts. Let's see that one there. And man, oh man. Don't have a lot of weights with these because, I mean, you got to draw a quarter of these and hike them out, and so they don't weigh a lot of them. Most of them that do have the weights are around 1,000 pounds or so. Okay, what about I'll get to that in a minute, but what's this? Oh, that's the sheds. Cape Breton, I guess there's no porcupine, so if you want to go shed hunting in Cape Breton, you can get some pretty big sheds because they last forever. Nothing's really eating them, right? Get yourself a big old paddle. And it's a good place to go camping, Cape Breton. Let's see here. There was some bear numbers here somewhere, but I don't think I marked that. Oh, well, here's a graph on trophy weights of dress weights of trophy bucks in the province. And the main one is 190 to 200 pounds. That's the tallest graph for big bucks, and those are dressed. So So a lot of the bars are pretty high, even up to 220, 230. Right, so a lot of big deer here. Where are those bears? Thought I marked that. Anyways, as far as the bears go, there's big ones that are 500 and some pounds, and one was supposed to be 600 and some pounds, and no, they're all recorded, so I guess. Well, there's a couple big bears there. Yeah, okay. So he's holding a bear skull. I don't know how the point system goes on those, but is that even focusing right? Let me see here. That's a pretty big bear skull. 20 and 6/16, whatever that means. Is that points or measurements? And it dressed 484 pounds, so that was definitely over 500-pound bear. And his is 19 and 1/16, and his down there is 18 and 2/16. And there's another one with 8 and 1/16. Pretty sure there was a couple more 20s and 19 somewhere. But anyways, that's bears. If you like bears, the big old bears, we got a few of them too. All right, we're gonna pause this, and we'll get to the dressed weights versus live weights calculations.